Hey everyone, hope you're doing fantastic. We're continuing our reading of the Quran, my annotations from the very first time I read it. And be rest assured, I listen to the Quran every day, regardless of if I'm uploading videos or not, and I do my prayers. So don't think that just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. And before we get started, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Okay, we're in Luqman 31, picking up on 22. Whoever submits his whole self to Allah and is a doer of good hath grasped indeed the most trustworthy handhold, and with Allah rests the end and decision of all affairs. See, the most trustworthy handholds, like when you get that type of a grip for aid, what can compete with it? Submitting ourselves entirely, even when we're afraid of what comes next. Submit. 24. We grant them in their pleasure for a little while. In the end shall we drive them to chastisement unrelenting. So here it's, even if you see somebody who clearly is transgressing, really enjoying it, that'll come to an end. Just make sure you don't follow them down that path, right? Just make sure you don't get caught up, no matter the peer pressure. 29. Seest thou not that Allah emerges night into day, and He emerges day into night, that He has subjected the sun and the moon to His law, each running its course for a term appointed, and that Allah is well acquainted with all that ye do? Again, all well acquainted with everything we do. So, the good and the bad. 34. Verily the knowledge of the hour is with Allah alone. It is He who sends down rain, and He who knows what is in the wombs. Nor does anyone know what it is that he will earn on the morrow, nor does anyone know in what land he is to die. Verily with Allah is full knowledge, and He is acquainted with all things. So, that's an interesting point, is you don't know where you're going to die. You could be traveling, you could be on vacation to Hawaii, and bloop blop right on the plane. Just out of this world. And we don't know tomorrow, so we have to say inshallah, God willing. God willing, you'll be able to do it. But I say that a lot now. Really, just tomorrow isn't promised to anybody, and it's good to plan for the future because you have to have long-term goals. But again, you have to plan in these different stages. What am I gonna do an hour from now? I'm very organized, so I really structure myself. Even though it'll be what my mood desires, there's still structure to it. And I'm heavily into my routine. So, for people like me who think like that, that really helps. Now we're in Sajda 32. Sajda, or adoration, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. 1. Alif Lam Mim. Yes. This is the revelation of the book in which there is no doubt, from the Lord of the worlds. Again, and I also pointed out that I like how it says worlds, and not just ours, but every possible dimension, every galaxy, every star cluster, every nursery nebula, whatever. Number 4. It is Allah who has created the heavens and the earth, and all between them, in 6 days, and is firmly established on the throne of authority. Ye have none besides Him to protect or intercede for you. Will ye not then receive admonition? See, here it's, again, there's the intercession and the protection angle. And the protection is very important because people become very arrogant. When they're in a nice neighborhood, in a good community, you forget the gloriousness. But when you're afraid and panicky and you hear something outside, or you hear gunshots, or you hear the neighbors beating the crap out of each other, or some people parking, screaming at each other, knowing they could just pop off at any moment, I get focused. That's what I've done. Sometimes I've heard things where I'm like, man, this is making me anxious, because you can hear like any moment someone could go off, and I'll be doing my prayers, and I just stay there, just keep doing my prayers, what I gotta do, keep it out. It helps. 5. He rules all affairs from the heavens and to the earth. In the end will affairs go up to him. On a day, the space whereof will be as 1,000 years of your reckoning. Again, the time, right? The time here. Human time is different than God's time. Which makes sense, because you know what? I think every critter has their own little clock, to be honest. Because time is so strange. It can move really fast or really slow. You wake up, you're asleep for hours, and the next second, boop, your eyes are awake. It's very strange. Sometimes you can take a nap and think it's the next day, but you only slept for an hour and a half. Time is very strange. Truly. 10. And they say, what? When we lie hidden and lost in the earth, shall we indeed be a creation renewed? Nay, they deny the meeting with their Lord. Say, the angel of death, put in charge of you, will duly take your souls. Then shall ye be brought back to your Lord. Ooh, jeez. It's scary. You see that angel of death. I hope it doesn't have a horrible face. Oh, it's so scary. Whew. The weird part is that if you see that and it's coming, you know you're on your way. It's quite nerve-wracking. 13. If we had so willed, we could certainly have brought every soul its true guidance. But the word from me will come true. I will fill hell with jinns and men altogether. This is something that I liked because you get a little afraid of a tricky jinn, of something ephemeral that you cannot see, right? And knowing that they're gonna have a fate in hell is very unique. Because when you hear a lot of the demonology talk and stuff like that, it almost makes a person feel like the demons, they won't get their punishment till the very end, and they'll just go back to being little demons in hell amongst others. So it wouldn't be a torment for them because they are naturally evil. So if you're putting something evil back in evilness and it's devoid of love and everything else, you wonder how it can suffer. But now that we know in Islamic theology, the jinns will be held accountable. They have a sort of free will. They're smokeless fire. But if they do something bad, they didn't listen, they get punished too. Now you can't see them. I'm happy I don't want to see it, even if it's good or bad. Stay the heck away from me. Freak me out. But that's just another interesting point, that a jinn, something we can't see, going to hell. So that enlightens us that hell is a dynamic place. It's not the cartoonish way of just fire. It's gonna be even worse than something Dante or even the worst horror movies could imagine, right? 14. Taste ye then, for ye forgot the meeting of this day with yours, and we too will forget you. Taste ye the penalty of eternity for your evil deeds. So here it's another point is, you forgot the meeting of this day, and you forget, God will forget you. People feel sometimes entitled, like, well, because I did X, Y, and Z, I won't go. But it's another point, you have to work on it. That's why I look at work now kind of weird, because we spend so many hours of our day just at work. And if your work is something immoral, it causes a lot of corruption, you're around sick people, you're around people just degeneracy all day, you're not in God consciousness, nor do they want you with your God consciousness around, because you're a light in their face and they want you out of here. They don't want you to be a reminder. They want to forget. They are running away from a certain type of consciousness, and if you're around, you remind them of it, and they distaste it. They don't like it. So they forgot, and they want to forget, and they want to stay in their forgetfulness, and they don't want your remembrance to brush off on them. So we know, based off of this ayat number 14, yeah, they may push us around, do weird things, but everyone gets their recompense in the end. It's very true. 15. Only those who believe in our signs, who, when they are recited to them, fall down in adoration, and celebrate the praises of their Lord, nor are they ever puffed up with pride. So, yeah, the puffing up of pride, I've been working on that. I think you can be proud, but when you're excessively boastful is when you have a problem, right? What do you think, fam?